Okay, so it's Friday night, and you know what that means, right?
Time to figure out what we're watching this weekend.
Yep. The age-old question. Too many choices, not enough time. Well, that's why we're here.
To help you sift through it all.
Exactly. This is our deep dive into all things new and noteworthy in the world of movies and shows. And I've got the perfect co-pilot for this journey.
Happy to be here.
You always bring the insightful takes that go way beyond just like thumbs up or thumbs down.
I try to.
All right, well, let's jump right in. We've got a packed lineup this week. First up, the streaming giants. Netflix is back with Squid Game Season 2, and let's be honest, expectations are through the roof.
Yeah, the hype is real.
Yeah.
But the early buzz is, well, it's complicated.
It's complicated good or complicated bad?
It's proving to be pretty divisive. Some critics are saying it lacks the social commentary that made the first season so powerful, that it's leaning more into the spectacle, maybe at the expense of the heart.
So style over substance.
Not necessarily. Others are praising the visuals and the new games, saying it's just as thrilling, just maybe exploring the themes a little differently.
Okay, so maybe we'll have to judge that one for ourselves. Speaking of pushing boundaries, Hulu has Night Bitch, starring Amy Adams. It's being called a darkly comedic take on motherhood, but with werewolves.
Yeah, it's tapping into this whole trend of horror exploring female anxiety. Like, it's not just jump scares. It's about the monstrous side of expectations, you know. And the director, Mari Heller, she's known for these nuanced character studies, but this is a whole new genre for her.
Yeah, she did. Can you ever forgive me? Loved that one.
Exactly.
So this could be amazing or a total swing and a miss.
Pretty much. And that's what everyone's talking about. Some say it's too surreal, while others are calling it refreshingly original.
Okay, so maybe approach Night Bitch with an adventurous spirit. Now, for something a bit more classic, Disney Plus has the Doctor Who holiday special. Is this one worth it, even if you're not a die-hard Whovian?
Absolutely. Holiday specials are always a fun way to kind of dip your toe into the Doctor Who world. This one especially, it has this really heartwarming storyline and a ton of nostalgia.
So, perfect for a cozy night in. All right, from the small screen to the big screen, Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan in a complete unknown. That's definitely got people talking.
Yeah, the casting alone is generating a lot of buzz. You've got Chalamet, who's such a chameleon, and this incredible supporting cast. Elle Fanning, Monica Barbaro, even Edward Norton. But the question is, does it capture Dylan's, his spirit?
Because the reviews seem to be all over the place.
Right. Some say it focuses too much on recreating specific moments from his life and not enough on, the inner workings of his genius.
So more spectacle than insight.
Kind of. But audiences seem to be enjoying it. The soundtrack, the performances, the visuals, everyone's praising those.
Okay, well, speaking of visuals, let's talk about Nosferatu. This director, Robert Eggers, he knows how to create atmosphere, but his films can be, intense.
Intense is putting it mildly. This is Eggers at his most gothic and unsettling. It's a slow burn, lots of dread, psychological horror, visually stunning, but definitely not for the faint of heart.
Some of the reviews are using words like nightmarish and bleak.
Yeah, but that's what makes his work so fascinating. He doesn't shy away from the darkness, and he demands a lot from the audience. It's a film that will stay with you, love it or hate it.
All right, well, that one's going on my watch when I'm feeling brave list. Now, let's move on to some shows that are currently running. There's been a lot of buzz about Dexter. Original Sin on Paramount Plus. Prequels can be tricky, but this one seems to be winning over fans of the original.
What's interesting is it doesn't just rehash the old stuff. It really digs into Dexter's past, his childhood trauma. It gives us a glimpse into how he became, Dexter.
It sounds like they found a good balance between the familiar and the new.
Yeah.
Now, Disney Plus has Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Visually, it's stunning, but the audience reaction has been a bit lukewarm.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Critics love it. The visuals, how it expands the Star Wars world, but general audiences haven't really jumped on board yet. Maybe it's franchise fatigue, or maybe the tone is just a bit more mature than what some people were expecting.
So are we jumping on the Skeleton Crew bandwagon or taking a wait-and-see approach?
I think it's worth a shot, especially if you're already a Star Wars fan. It's beautifully made, even if it's not your typical, action-packed space opera.
And for those who prefer something a bit more grounded, Apple TV has Shrinking, which just wrapped its season. Some really powerful episodes from what I've heard.
Oh, it's a gem. Jason Segel and Harrison Ford are fantastic. The chemistry is just like off the charts.
Yeah.
And it tackles grief and healing with this perfect mix of humor and heart. The writing is so sharp. It's one of those shows that makes you laugh and then cry, all within the same episode.
Sounds like a perfect weekend binge. Now, not every show hits its stride, and it seems like Silo, also on Apple TV, might have stumbled a bit in its second season.
You know, the first season was so gripping. Claustrophobic thriller, full of twists. But this second season, it feels like it's lost some of that momentum. The pace is slower, and there's a lot more focus on world building, which hasn't worked for everyone.
So approach with caution if you're looking for that same, adrenaline rush from the first season.
Exactly. But if you like dystopian dramas and you're in the mood for something a bit more, contemplative, it could still be worth checking out.
Now, for a binge-worthy dose of drama and intrigue, there's Rivals. It's on both Hulu and Disney Plus Senta. What's making this one stand out?
Oh, Rivals is like a masterclass in high-stakes storytelling. It's got everything. Power struggles, hidden agendas, characters you just love to hate. The writing's sharp, the acting's top-notch, and the twists just keep on coming.
Okay, so that's one for the can't-look-away list. Lastly, there's Landman on Paramount Plus Lent. Taylor Sheridan's latest. He's known for strong female characters, but this show has actually sparked some debate.
Yeah, it's the portrayal of the female characters that's causing the controversy. Some viewers feel like they're underdeveloped, maybe even overly sexualized, which is different from what we've seen from Sheridan in the past. It's definitely a conversation worth having. And whether you choose to watch it or not really depends on your own, preferences and tolerances.
Yeah, it's always good to be aware of those different perspectives. But wow, with all these choices, where do we even begin? How do you decide what to watch?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to be honest with yourself about what you're looking for. Are you looking for pure escapism? Or something thought-provoking? A good laugh, a good cry? Maybe a little bit of everything.
It's like picking what to eat. Sometimes you want comfort food. Sometimes you're feeling adventurous.
Exactly. You wouldn't order a spicy dish if you can't handle the heat. Same with shows and movies. You probably wouldn't dive into a dark, gritty drama if you're looking for a feel-good pick-me-up.
It's about aligning your choices with your mood, What are you hoping to get out of the experience?
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to experiment. Maybe you usually love rom-coms, but you're suddenly in the mood for a historical drama. There's no rule saying you have to stick to one genre. Branching out can lead to some amazing discoveries.
Like taking a detour on a road trip. Sometimes you stumble upon a hidden gem.
Exactly. And those detours often become the most memorable part of the journey.
It's all about those detours, right? Discovering something unexpected. And speaking of discoveries, we've talked a lot about reviews, but sometimes the best recommendations come from, people we trust.
Word of mouth is huge, especially now when there's just so much content out there. Talking to friends, family, even coworkers about what they're loving can be the best way to find something new.
Yeah, it's like having your own personal network of entertainment scouts. But is there a risk of ending up in an echo chamber if you only listen to people with the same taste as you?
Oh, that's a good point. It's definitely about balance. Word of mouth is great for finding those under-the-radar gems, but you also have to actively seek out different perspectives.
So be open to recommendations, but also do your own research, read a few reviews maybe before diving in.
Exactly. And don't forget about online communities. There are tons of forums and groups for every genre, director, actor, you name it. You can find some really passionate people who can give you recommendations that are specifically tailored to your interests.
It's like having a whole team of entertainment curators working for you. But with all that information out there, how do you not get overwhelmed?
That's where being proactive comes in. Don't just scroll endlessly, Be intentional, take a minute to read the synopsis, watch the trailer, get a sense of the show or movie before you commit.
It's like being the captain of your own streaming ship. You gotta chart a course.
Exactly. Don't let those algorithms steer you off course. Take control and don't be afraid to, abandon ship if something's not working for you.
There's no shame in admitting you made a wrong turn and moving on.
Right. And sometimes the best journeys are the ones you don't plan at all. Maybe you decide to watch a documentary on a whim, or try a genre you've always avoided.
You never know what you might find.
That's the beauty of it all, right? There's this whole world of stories out there. And it's not just about finding things to watch. It's about engaging with them, thinking about them, talking about them.
It's about more than just passive consumption.
Exactly.
And that's what makes it all so fun, right? Talking about what we're watching, sharing those experiences.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really what we're all about here. Diving deep, helping you navigate this crazy world of content.
Well, we covered a lot of ground tonight. Sequels, horror, sci-fi, even a vampire classic.
Biopics, dystopian dramas, a little bit of everything.
Speaking of Nosferatu, I'm still not sure I'm brave enough for that one.
Well, maybe save that for another time when you're feeling adventurous.
Yeah, maybe. What I love, though, is just how much variety is out there. There really is something for everyone.
It's a great time to be a viewer.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get more diverse and expansive.
Absolutely. So as you head into the weekend with your watch list and your snacks, we want to hear from you.
What are you excited about? Any hidden gems you've discovered lately? Share them with us on social media.
We love hearing from you. And before we go, one last thing to think about.
With so much content, how do we choose what really matters to us when we're making those choices?
And how do we not get totally overwhelmed? It's something to keep in mind as you curate your own viewing experience.
It is.
And it's something we'll keep exploring right here on The Deep Dive.
Until next time, happy watching.